know, like most people, my life is pretty busy. I do a lot of community activities, and I'm going to college, and I'm a performance poet, a sculptor. The last thing that I need is to have problems when I'm looking for convenience. You see, I'm one of the more than 43 million people in the United States that have a disability. But most importantly, I'm a customer. And I'd like for you to come along with me and let me show you what it's like to shop using a wheelchair. Retail businesses must be accessible to all customers. I mean, it's the law. This video will help you understand what this means and what you need to do. You know, the primary thing with customers with disabilities is easy access, easy passage, accessibility of items, clear aisles, being able to just reach any item that you so desire because it's on your level. Chevron has seen to it that you can do things like this. Such freedom. I remember going to a retail store that hadn't addressed the barrier removal issues. And the aisles were so narrow. They were just so narrow that I had no way of turning around, so I had to go to the other end. And when I got to the other end, there were 2 display racks on either side, and so I couldn't turn. And I had to back all the way out. By this time, there were customers who had formed behind me, and so they had to interrupt their shopping to let me get out of the aisle. Everyone was upset about it. You know, someone using a wheelchair is obviously hard to miss. But there are barriers, but barriers are relatively easy to fix. It's certain attitudes like fear and pity and ignorance. That's the real challenge. And there are many disabilities, not all of them obvious, that can lead to poor customer service, even in a store that's done all of the right things. I mean, these include less visible disabilities like vision or hearing loss, and physical differences like disfigurement or dwarfism. By understanding a little more about the needs and the expectations of your customers with disabilities, you'll see how easy it is to provide good service to all customers.
I'd like to be treated as a regular customer with courtesy, and when I need something, I'd like to be given the service that anyone else would receive.
I would say that people with disabilities are customers with the same needs as anyone else.
I would say that at times when I come into stores and I can tell that people are uncomfortable with me, one way they communicate it is to look away or to avoid much contact with me, or to notice other people in the store instead of me.
Well, for someone with a facial difference, it's that first 30 seconds of contact that's most important.
There are a few instances where I walk out of the store thinking like, man, they must have never seen a blind person before.
Respect is the key word in human interaction as far as I'm concerned. I want to feel respected, which is what everybody wants.
Really, the main message I'd like to get across is for people to get over their discomfort about people who look so different, such as me. And I'm hoping that by seeing someone of my stature on this video that it would encourage people to be more friendly to other dwarves who shop in their stores.
One day I was out of gas, and I stopped off at a station. It was not a Chevron station. And I pulled up to the pump, as I always do, and I saw the guy in the window, and so I waved at him and showed him my placard, and he looked down and ignored me, and I waited a few minutes because I thought perhaps he might be doing something, and he didn't come out, and so I honked the horn 3 times, and still there was no response, and so I sat there, and now there were cars that were beginning to pile up behind me. The guy finally came out and said that they could not serve me, and I said, but I have a disability, and I showed him my placard, and he said no, his boss would not allow him to serve me, and I should just move on. And I said to him, I can't because I'm on empty. And he said, well, I can't. He looked back at his boss, and his boss shook his head, should not serve me. So he went back, as he was going back, and said, I'm sorry, I'm not moving, I'm on empty. So I sat there for a while, and there were people honking their horns and people getting angry at me. And then ultimately he came out, he said, all right, I'll give you $5 worth, but don't you ever come back here again. And that was pretty hard.
One time I had gone into a store and asked for some assistance. There was a couple items I needed, so I needed to accompany the person around the store, and rather than offering me his arm, the guy said, oh, sure, okay, right this way, and kind of took off down an aisle, and I just, rather than saying, hold on, wait here, you know, I need to grab your arm or something, I was just kind of going with the flow and doing my best to follow him, and he walked around a display case of some kind that was in the aisle, and I knocked it as I was going by it, and all of a sudden, you know, a whole case of Gillette razors or something, I don't know, are raining down on the floor, and I'm standing here feeling like I'm on Captain Kangaroo with all the ping pong balls coming down.
I'd say my worst experience has been coming into a store and seeing that someone was so uncomfortable with me that they started laughing, and then they went and got other employees and pointed me out to them. And I ended up walking out of the store quite angry because I felt so uncomfortable shopping there.
The worst experiences are when the salesperson or the service person is someone who has a look of what I perceive as contempt or distaste on their face. That there's like a drawing back, even a sense of revulsion. That's the absolute worst.
People need to just behave as they would behave with any other person, and act their natural self, but be polite.
I'd say that the biggest stumbling blocks are, one, you know, once I've gotten in the front door of the store, is connecting with a staff person who can help me out and who can find a few items for me or help me negotiate the aisles or show me where the checkout stand is. So it's making that contact.
What people can do to make me be a loyal customer would be to be friendly and offer help if it seems I need it, and to be aware of making things accessible so that I can reach things, clearing counter space. But I'd say the most important thing would be to be genuinely friendly to me, and welcoming.
One thing that really makes a difference for me shopping is when the cashier gives me my change back, if they tell me the order of the bills. You know, I mean, they don't necessarily need to count it, you know, this is a 1, this is a 1, this is a 1 into my hand, but say, hand it to me and say the 10's on top or the 10's on the bottom or something like that.
What makes me comfortable? Eye contact and a smile. That's it.
As you've just heard, we all have different stories. There are some of us who need assistance in reaching items that are out of our reach. There are those of us who need to be guided through a store. There are those of us who need to be addressed as a person instead of with revulsion. But then again, we all have the same story. Just like everyone else, we expect to have a friendly, helpful service when we visit your store.
Because most importantly, we're your customers. People who buy gas and coffee on the way to work, who pick up milk and bread between trips to the grocery store, who need to get extra soda and chips at the last minute for a party. And good service is what keeps good customers, no matter who they are, coming back.
Chevron is committed to providing all customers equal access to its facilities. While most good service is just good common sense, there are also specific steps you can and should take to meet ADA requirements. At CSI stations, these steps are mandatory. If you are a 2- or 3-party dealer or a jobber, we recommend you review your own operating practices in conjunction with your legal counsel. Post clearly visible signs indicating hours during which assistance is available. During posted hours, customers who need help refueling may request assistance either by using the intercom or by honking their horn 3 times. Make sure your intercom is in good working order so anyone using it, including employees, can be easily understood.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I need some gas. Can someone please come out to help me?
I'll be right with you.
Thank you.
You must provide assistance when there are 2 or more employees on duty, the entrance doors are unlocked, and there are no security restrictions. If the store is busy, employees should acknowledge customers by using the intercom and let them know someone will be out to help shortly.
Yes, can I help you?
If refueling assistance is not available, employees must activate the dispenser without requiring the customer to prepay or come to the transaction drawer. You also must provide refueling services at self-serve prices for customers with disabilities. You may charge full service prices only if you have full service available and the customer requests it. For more information, please review the Retailer's Guide to the Americans with Disabilities Act, which accompanies this video. It contains specific recommendations to help you meet ADA requirements. Assisting customers with disabilities is also important inside the store. Customer service personnel shouldn't assume that someone with a disability needs help. However, they should be aware if someone is having difficulties so they can offer assistance. Examples of ways we will assist customers with disabilities include helping a customer get a cup of coffee or a fountain drink, handing a customer an item that is out of reach, relocating a display if it's in the way, asking a customer for ideas on how to make shopping easier. Remember, a customer-friendly store is one that looks at things from the customer's point of view. Keep aisles and doorways clear of boxes or other obstructions. Maintain unobstructed 3-foot wide access lanes both outside and inside the store. If you have a portable trash can inside the restroom, it could block access for customers who use wheelchairs. This is a common type of barrier which needs to be removed and probably replaced with a wall-mounted fixture. Make sure that employees, vendors, or unauthorized customers do not park in spaces designated for accessible parking only. Review the ADA maintenance checklist at the back of your retailer's guide for additional accessibility guidelines. For example, is the accessible parking area relatively smooth and well-maintained? Are a clipboard and notepad readily available to customers at the checkout counter? Do restroom doors have lever handles which can be opened with a closed fist instead of doorknobs? Are restroom drain and hot water supply lines insulated? Walk around your facility at least once a year and look at it from your customer's perspective. It may open your eyes.
You know, sometimes I think the greatest barrier of all is a negative attitude. When I interact with someone who pays attention to me as a person, I mean, it really brightens my day. And seriously, I think it brightens their day too, because
A good customer and good customer service, I mean, it makes any job more fun.
Be warm and friendly and treat me as they would any other human being, and to try to put their curiosity aside about my being different, and remember that I'm a mom and I'm a person who's come to shop, and to notice what's similar about us.
It's the same as what anybody else needs. Respect, an open heart, what more can you ask?
Treat me as you would treat anyone else, with a sense of humor, with a desire to be helpful, and remember, I'm a customer like anyone else, and you should treat me with respect.